Welcome to my September 11th, Creating Photos and Videos. Recently on the LumaFusion group on Facebook, there have been a number of people asking about how you get audio files that you have on an SD card or a micro SD card onto your iPad or iPhone for using in LumaFusion. And I've addressed this issue before. The dilemma is you can't use the SD to Lightning dongle that you use to take SD cards and transfer the images or videos that are on them onto your iPad or an iPhone. This is something that I addressed and demonstrated how to do using my Western Digital My Passport Pro wireless drive in a photography and technology tools, as well as in a previous video updates episode. The problem is that the WD drives and other like drives are kind of pricey and out of the range of some people who want to be able to do this. There is, however, a drive that will work, and it's one I've had for some time and one I've talked about a number of times. It's the SanDisk Media Drive. It's a tiny little drive. This happens to be a 64 gigabyte model. The problem is, it appears SanDisk is no longer making these drives. So if this is a problem you have, this is a good solution, and I've seen them on eBay and used on Amazon for $30 or in that range, up to $49. So if this is a problem, getting audio files from a recorder, from a SD card, or micro SD card onto your iPad or iPhone, then you might want to look at eBay or Amazon for a used version of this. I've seen several of them. The least expensive wireless drive that I've seen that does have an SD port in it that it sells for around $109 is an Asus Travelair N WHD-A2 network drive. Comes with a terabyte of space, which is a nice amount of space. I have no experience with this drive, so I can't attest to its how it works or how reliable it is. But it is the least expensive one I've been able to find. So let's get to the process of getting audio files from an SD card or micro SD card onto your iPad or iPhone. There's a misconception about these wireless drives, whether they're the little media drive or the WD My Passport Pro or the SSD version. There's a misconception that you need to have internet for them to work, and that's not true. That's not the case at all. These little guys, when you boot them up, actually create a hotspot, and you can connect anywhere from 5 to 8 devices. I think with this particular drive, you can connect 8 devices to it when it's running, because it creates and broadcasts an ID for a Wi-Fi network. So you basically are creating your own private network. So you could be out on the beach, you could be in the thick of a forest on a mountaintop, or you could be in the middle of the ocean on a ship, and you could still use this because you're not connecting to the internet. Now, most of them have a feature where you can connect the drive to the internet, and then it becomes a pass-through for your devices or the devices that are connected to it. But for our purposes, all we're doing is using this to connect the iPad, in this case, to the drive. So that you see this is no wires attached kind of thing, and it's happening before your very eyes. I've got my little Olympus recorder. I'm turning it on, and I am recording right now a little file that we can then use to transfer to the iPad. And so we've got a long enough file here, so I'm going to stop that recording. So I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so I'm opening this up in the back, getting the SD card out of the recorder. It's actually a micro SD card. So there's my little micro SD card. These micro SD cards typically come with an SD size carrier for them. So I'm placing this inside there. So now I have an SD card to plug into the media drive. And the nice thing about the media drive and the key to this whole process is a wireless drive that you can connect to wirelessly from other devices, but it also has an SD slot. And now what I'm doing is placing the SD card with the micro SD card inserted into the drive. So there we go. We have the SD card in here. And now I'm turning on the drive. And you'll see a green light comes on. And when the second green light comes on, it means it's broadcasting a wireless signal. All right, we have 3 lights. So everything's working. And remember, this is a charged hard drive. So it does have a charging port, which I made sure it was fully charged, and it usually will last from 6 to 8 hours. So now what we're going to do is, as I showed you, the lights are on, and if I go to wireless to Wi-Fi, you'll see Boo's media drive shows up. So I click on that, and it's in the process of connecting to the drive. Check mark, so I've got it. Now what I want to do is go to the SanDisk app, and it's connecting to the app. Connect mobile device to media drive, and I think we already have that done. And if I go to files, it's showing the media drive card, which is the micro SD card that's in the drive. I'm going to put the drive over here. And media drive. So we don't want to go to the media drive, we want to go to the media drive card, and it's going to show me recorder and then all the folders. And I recorded that file to the default folder of folder A, and it should be the most recent one, September 4th, 2018. And so I click on that, and it opens it up. Recording right now a little file. And that's the file. Okay. So if I click on the select choice at the top here, then the share icon appears. And if I click on that, I want to choose open in, because I want to open it in LumaFusion. So what it does is copy the file, and this is a very small file, so it's fairly quick. So it copies it to memory, and now if I click on LumaFusion, it switches to LumaFusion, and the file and it opens up to a project. I'm just going to go to the main part and create a new project. I'll just leave it, call it my project. So the file is right here. I tap on that, and it appears over on the right-hand side, and we can play it. Recording right now a little file that we can then use to transfer to the iPad. So, voila! We have the file now in LumaFusion. So I could use this file by just dropping it to the timeline. Now it's part of this project. And play it from there. Media drive in a second. And so we've got a look. So that is how it's done. Fairly simple process. The most important part, of course, is the media drive, or some kind of drive that has an SD card slot so that you can transfer files to the iPad from that card. You don't have to do just one file at a time. You can select multiple files. You saw a whole bunch of audio files there. And just go to the menu, the list of all the files, choose select, and then hit the share icon so that the files are then all copied and transferred into whatever destination you choose. In this case, the primary destination we're talking about is LumaFusion, a video editing app on my iPad. Thanks very much for checking in on this Creating Photos and Videos episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Good day.